It is an unexpected sight. All kinds of kids with all kinds of disabilities at summer camp, having the time of their lives. The year was 1971. The place, Camp Jened in New York's Catskill Mountains.
Wow, Camp Jened was a place that was a utopia.
Jim LeBrecht, born with spina bifida, was one of the campers.
It was a place where all of a sudden the rest of the outside world seemed to just disappear.
When you go back into your
Judy Heumann, who got polio at 18 months old, was a counselor.
You were really cute.
I really laughed when I saw the film. It was so funny to see me at 21.
And we are seeing this old footage now as part of a recent documentary called Crip Camp, short for the word crippled, which, let's face it, is not bandied about these days.
Why did you call it that, Jim?
We wanted to basically let people know that this wasn't your average film about disability, that there was an edge.
Jim LeBrecht is not only a major character in Crip Camp, he's also one of the filmmakers, collaborating with Emmy Award-winning documentarian Nicole Newnham.
Jim made me see disability as a culture. He made me see disability as a community.
We're going to talk about parents.
Jim vividly remembered this Camp Jened footage made by a freewheeling experimental group.
We are the People's Video Theater. Whatever actually you really want to say about yourselves, let us know.
They captured Camp Jened kids revealing some of their most personal feelings.
I think that it is talking about what everybody wants to be alone and in their life.
In later moments, Jim LeBrecht got to shoot video himself, a camera strapped to his wheelchair.
Is this necessary? I mean, is this important? Oh, my.
But LeBrecht had no idea what had become of the video after almost half a century.
And that was just incredibly enticing to me as a filmmaker. It felt like it would be the holy grail. I just spent night after night looking online.
She finally found it, and the footage became the starting point for the rest of the Netflix documentary, a project that attracted the Obamas as executive producers.
They really were creative partners.
Some of the campers, especially Judy Heumann, would become leaders in the disability rights movement.
You don't get to see footage of our great civil rights heroes at summer camp.
Heumann founded a group called Disabled in Action.
We decided that we were going to sit down in the street. We were going to stop traffic.
It was very important for all of us that we wanted people to see us.
You became one of several people from Camp Jened who moved out to Berkeley, California. Why'd you go out there?
I was offered a scholarship, and then a number of friends followed.
It almost felt like you were this little band of brothers and sisters.
Well, we were, really, and we still are.
In 1973, Congress passed a law giving the disabled limited protection.
If you get money from the federal government, you may not discriminate against someone based on disability.
But President Jimmy Carter's administration delayed approving new regulations needed before the law could actually take effect. Heumann helped lead a sit-in with scores of disabled people, including some from Camp Jened at a federal office building in San Francisco.
Protesters in wheelchairs, the lame, the palsied, and the blind have occupied the entire fourth floor since Tuesday.
The sit-in would go on for weeks. Finally, Heumann and a small delegation traveled to Washington, D.C. to gain attention, hauled around town in the back of a truck.
In Washington today, more than 100 people marched in front of the White House.
On the 23rd day of the San Francisco sit-in, the regulations were very quietly signed in Washington.
The Congress, the press, the American public has seen that we have stamina, strength, intelligence.
But remember, those new regulations only applied to certain places. Jim LeBrecht, a few years younger than his other camp friends, was starting work at a Berkeley theater, a job that required him to drag himself up this flight of stairs every day.
Did you ever just say to yourself, I can't do this anymore, I'm going to have to quit?
To be honest, no, I didn't. This job was a dream job for me. I felt like if I didn't succeed in this job, I didn't know what I was going to do.
But disabled Americans demanded change. They kept the pressure up, some even scaling the Capitol steps in peaceful protest. Finally, in 1990, Congress passed the landmark Americans with Disabilities Act, banning discrimination and requiring ramps and other assistance for disabled Americans nationwide.
Let the shameful wall of exclusion finally come tumbling down.
The Camp Jened gang celebrated at last year's Sundance Film Festival when Crip Camp earned the Audience Award.
This was a love letter to the disabled community, and it is, and I'm so proud to be up here.
Now the film is on the shortlist for an Oscar nomination.
If we help people to reconsider how they see people with disabilities, or on a larger scale, anyone that's not quite like themselves, then we've achieved a great, great deal.
And Judy Heumann, who in 2010 went on to become the State Department's first advisor for international disability rights, believes that watching Crip Camp could bring a moment of truth for viewers.
And hopefully, some of those people will leave the film reflecting on how they have treated other disabled people, or how they may have a hidden disability that they've never been public about, and why that is.